Hello, this is J Towsey. I'm also known as the visionary folk photographer and a true soldier, because I'm an activist that always seeks and speaks truth. Anyway, if you go to my wheelchairrights.wordpress.com site, if you've been following it, you'll see a lot of amazing reports, and a lot of them pertain to living in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and the absolute tyranny that goes on here with all the people being insiders, and all the people in the government, that is, cops or whoever they may be, and they conspire against anybody they want so they can keep their cushy jobs and not be accountable to the public or to anyone. They completely circumvent the justice system of any kind. There is none here, and it's a dangerous place to live for an activist. Anyway, I get around in a wheelchair after having a car driven over me deliberately back on October 9, 2000 and November 22nd, 2009 in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And I've gone through quite a bit since then, and I have multiple injuries, and now the bus drivers and different people in Metro Transit are being lied to, or whoever it may be is being lied to, giving them the impression that I'm not disabled, which is a really unbelievable thing. Nobody is not disabled when they have a car drive over them. Anyway, on this day, you're going to see a video following this commentary, and I sat at a bus stop, and bus after bus couldn't take me anywhere with my wheelchair because most of Halifax Metro Transit's buses don't have 4 metal hooks and automatic ratchets to hold down heavy wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs. So finally, after almost an hour, a bus shows up. And I've been harassed by Metro Transit before, but I believe that the people who are doing the harassment are above Metro Transit. They just drive the buses when they feel like it. And they're agents that are agent provocateurs, or whatever you want to call them. And I get pretty suspicious when a bus is like a half an hour late or longer, and that means that they're probably switching buses or switching drivers. I don't trust Metro Transit. I don't trust the corrupt criminals in the government here, and I sure don't trust their operatives that they have that are brainwashed into believing that somehow I'm the bad guy and that what they're doing is honorable, and national security and all these other things where they get this ego idea that they're above any kind of criticism from the people. So anyway, this bus pulls up. There's already a wheelchair on it. The wheelchair is quite big. You can see it in the video. And I get in, and then I realize I can't turn my wheelchair around to park it. And the bus driver's got a really nasty attitude. He just looks at me like I'm a piece of shit. He thinks he's Mr. Boss and Mr. Master, and I'm just a nobody. And the bus is full of full of passengers. And I'm facing backwards, looking at everyone on the bus. And I said to the driver, I said, I can't move my chair. I can't turn it around. And then he starts trying to tell me how to drive, and I really get pissed off at him. And I told him, excuse me, but I know how to drive my wheelchair. I've spent enough years sitting in it. And I said to him, you need to unhook the wheelchair next to me so he can move up so I can turn around so we can park my wheelchair. That would take about a minute to do, if that. And the person in the wheelchair next to me was quite willing to do that, and the driver didn't want to do it. I said, well, what do you think we're going to do now? You're going to be ignorant, and you're going to hold up this bus, and you're going to make a big scene, and and you're going to call the cops or whatever because you're refusing to cooperate. So I asked him, can you please unhook that wheelchair next to me so I can turn around? And he said no. So I said, well, what are we going to do? I can't back up. I can't get out of the bus, and I'm stuck right here in the aisle. I'm not going anywhere. So you tell me what we're going to do. Anyway, his attitude continued, and I realized that he was a really nasty, stupid individual that was just looking to provoke me. And I call that a sting operation, which Metro Transit has allowed to be done before to me. And Metro Transit has cameras on them, but they never, ever, ever give me the right to see the videos so I can prove what they're doing to me. So now I always get on buses with a camera sitting on my lap. And I decided on this day to just turn on my camera. So what you're seeing here in this video to follow is after the bus driver had already, caused a big scene and was refusing to cooperate, was demeaning me and talking down to me and harassing me, and had no respect for anyone else on the bus, and refused to do anything to cooperate. And then he goes and sits down, and Mr. Boss Authority sits in his chair in the front and makes some phone calls on calls the inspectors. But what really amazed me is that not the inspectors, the supervisors that showed up, well, they were there in a matter of seconds. So this whole thing was set up, and I knew it. I know when the inspectors and all these other vehicles show up, I'm right within a few seconds that all this was set up. And as you see, when I turn off my video, the supervisor for Metro Transit, the lady, she had no problem asking the guy next to me to move his chair, and I was hooked up, so I turned off the camera. And after I turned off the camera, another thing that really surprised me is that they switched drivers. The driver just said, "Oh no, man, I'm not driving this bus." But this is all set up for folks, remember. So they already had a driver sitting, waiting to take over the bus. And we're not at a bus terminal here. Like, we're out in the middle of the city. So I went and I looked at that, and I went, "Look at that. They even had a driver already waiting." This is all set up because the guy that was harassing me wasn't really a Halifax Metro Transit driver. He's probably military or police or some other subversive. And so we went on our way. And when I got off the bus, I sat outside with two people from Metro Transit, talking to them and telling them why I can't go anywhere on buses in Halifax because they don't have the metal hooks and the proper ratchets to secure my wheelchair. And that's the case for most people in wheelchairs. So I told them, I said, "I can't go anywhere on buses in Halifax because you refuse to provide proper equipment to secure wheelchairs." And my nightmare with Metro Transit and their harassment of me continues, and I rarely ever go anywhere on a bus. And hey, anybody watching this, you know what? This is the way life is in this day and age. And the reason why we have no rights anymore is because no one does anything that's right anymore. And the people in society, the average person, doesn't speak up, can't take on the system. The system is completely corrupt from top to bottom. And as you see when you follow all the other reports that I've done, when you become a good activist and very effective like I have with my websites and everything, well, you know what? Hey, these people, they just decide that, hey, we'll just drive a car over this bastard and we'll kill him. That's it. But hey, I survived and didn't expect that. So after this, I realized, well, I better get public, and I better put my wheelchair rights website together, and I better put my True Soldier website together, and all my other stuff, and start telling the world what's happening. Because I learned long ago that if you're a victim of tyranny and organized crime that's taken over our government, the only defense you have is to make sure that your information gets out to other people. Because the more people learn about how this works and what they're doing to me, people will realize, oh, look at that. Geez, these are all a bunch of criminals. So after my accident, they told me that this woman, they said it was an 80-year-old woman that ran into me. That's not what I saw, and that's not what happened. But anyway, they told me she had insurance. It's been almost 4 years, and my lawyer and their lawyers and everybody in this system, in this town, in this province of Nova Scotia, Halifax, is all a bunch of insider criminals. And the other day, about a week ago, I was told that my lawyer was going to go to court, the Nova Scotia Supreme Court, and talk with the insurance company, Economical Insurance. Though they never invited me there, and I'm the one that brought this to court. And so I showed up at the courthouse a half an hour early, and lo and behold, 10 minutes later, the security guards come out and tell me, "Oh, the court thing has been canceled," and they give me a letter from Economical Insurance saying that it's canceled. Like, who the heck is Economical Insurance to cancel court proceedings? And it's amazing to me that this goes to Supreme Court and I'm not involved, and I don't even know the name of the judge. So you can see just how deep and how deeply rooted the corruption is here. And a lot of this has to do with what I witnessed on the waterfront about 3 months before I was run over. And it's an article online called "Man Drowns at Halifax Buskers." And you go watch that and see the police involvement in the man's murder is what I call it. And the man was carrying a knapsack, and it had a lot of valuables in it. That's what I believe the police were after. But anyway, I was sitting on the dock, and I photographed it, and there was witnesses around. And the Nova Scotia, the waterfront especially, is overridden by corruption. And the whole province is like this. This place needs a major cleanup. It's really corrupt here. I mean, there's no decency here. You need to get all these insiders out of the government that have taken over the government. And we need to bring it back to the people. You remember that the Halifax Commons in Nova Scotia in Halifax was the first parliamentary democracy, representative democracy in North America. And so basically in Canada, Halifax was the birthplace of our democracy, but it seems to be the place that the democracy has died. Anyway, please watch the video that follows this and get involved and say, why is it that people in wheelchairs don't get the same rights as everyone else? There's one thing very, very wrong in Nova Scotia, and maybe even in Canada, but especially in Nova Scotia. There are no laws to protect disabled people. None. There's no standards, there's no inspections, there's no certification, there's no regulations, there's nothing. The minute you become disabled, you have absolutely no rights. And even a dog, a pet, has more rights than a disabled person has. You have to end up in an electric wheelchair to get around in this society. There's nothing. There's no standards on how to build ramps and power doors or bathrooms or you name it. There's nothing. It is disgusting how Nova Scotia treats disabled people. And if you're a person in a wheelchair or you don't ever come to Halifax, you'll find it a horrific nightmare. I want the world to know how bad things are in Nova Scotia. And this is why these people keep doing me harm and they want to shut me up. Well, why would I want to shut up? It's either I shut up and die or I continue to speak the truth and fight for my rights. This is all about wheelchair rights. And please see all my wheelchair rights reports at wheelchairrights.wordpress.com. And thank you for listening. And please watch the video that follows this. You're the one not cooperating. Okay, I'm recording this, so I may as well get you on camera, okay? So I'm sitting in a bus here, folks. This is not for you guys. I'm not getting your faces. I'm sitting here in a public transit bus. There's a wheelchair beside me, and there's no room for me to turn my bus or my chair around. And this driver, I asked him just unhook that chair, get him to move up a bit so I can have room for my feet to swing around so I can park my chair. And the driver's trying to tell me what to do, and he won't listen to me. This is what it looks like, folks. So a lot of people are going to see this. I run a bunch of websites. So I'll leave my camera on, see if we can resolve this problem. And unfortunately, this driver is going to annoy the heck out of everybody on this bus. It's just like the new bus terminal they built there. Wheelchairs can't get in. They got a button to open the outside door. They don't have a button to open the inside door. A year and a half later, and I told them I can't even get into the terminal, and they won't fix it. Metro Transit doesn't fix anything for wheelchairs. You know how many buses are accessible in the city for wheelchairs? 1%. They got blue stickers on them, but they don't have hooks to hook the chairs in. So people in wheelchairs can't go anywhere in this town. I sat here for an hour, bus after bus after bus couldn't take me anywhere because they don't have the proper tie downs for wheelchairs. Metro Transit keeps buying new buses that doesn't have any hooks on them. So, just so people can see, I've got a seat beside me. No, I'm talking to the camera. It's recording. You know, I took Metro Transit to the Human Rights Commission, right? And they ruled. I actually won. The Human Rights Commission ruled that Metro Transit has historically been discriminating against people in wheelchairs. And they were supposed to change their attitude and change their buses and fix them so wheelchairs can go places. 4 years later, Metro Transit's done nothing. All they do is laugh at people like me that try to get them to start treating us with respect. Metro Transit's really bad. Half the equipment on their buses that's for wheelchairs is all broken. They never fix anything. The ramps a lot of times don't work. They don't fix that either. That's why I never go on buses anymore. I take buses like maybe 3-4 times a year now. An Accessa bus won't give me service either where I live. Where I have to wait, I can't see the buses. So I asked them, call me like 10 seconds, a minute later, so I can come down the elevator. They won't even call me. So Accessa bus doesn't offer me any service at my building that's accessible because they got no place to park, they say. So I get no Accessa bus service, and I practically can't go on buses anywhere in the city. Try to being disabled in a wheelchair. You go to wheelchairrights.wordpress.com, you can see all the videos and all the reports and all the government ignorance. You can see all the responses to everything. But a lot of people are finding out what's going on because I do videos of everything now. And a lot of people are going, oh wow, this is what goes on in Halifax? So, is the inspector coming? Driver's not going to answer me now. You get a pretty good sized chair there, eh? Yeah, that's a big one. Nice big wheels. That's what I wanted on my chair. And they told me they can't put big wheels on. These tires on here, they go bald in 2 weeks. They're replacing them. Yeah, in 2 weeks they go bald because this chair's got suspension that goes up and down, so the tires don't stay true, and they wear out like that. And they're billing the taxpayers over $500 every time they replace the tires. And I told them, why don't you make outdoor tires for wheelchairs? I know, but we spend all our life outdoors. There's no accessibility is non-existent in this town. So if you want to have a life, you got to be outdoors. The sidewalks are all chewed up and they're all full of rocks and debris, and you know, you go through. But you got nice big tires. I like those.
I just on the roads.
Yeah, I wish I had tires like that. I tried to get them on my chair. They wouldn't put them on. Yeah, well, with my weight, this chair is almost 800 pounds. Right, and
where do you get your chair from?
I got this one from Home Safe Living.
They're pretty good.
Well, they don't have the best mechanics in the world, but at least they're honest. They're sincere, and they don't rip the taxpayers off. Lawton's and IMP, they have amateurs that don't have it. You don't even know how to turn a screwdriver. They bill the taxpayers $85 an hour. By the time you're done, you get your chair back. They didn't even fix what they were supposed to. What they do touch, they always don't do it right. Oh yeah, man. Oh.
Yeah,
what a nightmare discovering all this when I became disabled. And I go, oh my God, you become disabled and you have no laws protecting you. There's nothing anywhere.
I usually get Steve to do my chair.
What's that?
I usually get Steve to do my chair.
Over at the Home Safe Living?
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know who Steve is. That's
Steve's pretty good with chairs.
Who makes this one?
A lot.
No, who makes the chair? Manufacturer?
Not quite sure.
Arrow, maybe? Not Arrow. It looks familiar, this chair.
It's a storm chair.
How old is this one?
It's got suspension 8 years.
8 years, yeah. That's why I haven't seen it before. It's a pretty good, sturdy one.
Actually, I've had one before this at the same time.
Yeah. This chair here, she has suspension because I got a broken back and everything, and the way it's designed, it's got a lot of really serious engineering flaws. They're constantly repairing this chair. This chair is costing the taxpayers about $2,000 a month in maintenance because it's not made properly. And I told them you should have the same standards for wheelchairs as you do for cars. When a wheelchair is inferior or it's got serious safety hazards and problems, it should be recalled. But there's no mechanism in place to make sure that what they put on the market is safe for the consumer. There's no laws to protect disabled people at all. None. Not one law about anything. I couldn't believe it. I was a mechanic, man. I owned my own businesses, and I had to abide by all kinds of laws. There's nothing to protect people. You know, vehicles, when you go to get them safety, it's written in every book all through North America. When you safety a vehicle, you have to check the restraining equipment that's in the vehicle to hold people safely, passengers, right? Well, they don't safety these belts or this setup at all. They don't check it. When I asked the manager at Metro Transit, I said, well, when's the last time you guys did a safety inspection on the equipment for wheelchairs? And the guy laughed at me. He said, never.
You don't have any bars like I have a bar.
Yeah, you have an H-frame, it's called, that big frame. Yeah, it's solid.
Tie downs?
Well, I have tie downs, but what happens with the buses that have the buckles. Hi.
You can talk to me now.
Good. If you move up this way, I can see you because I got a neck brace on. All I asked this driver to do is just unhook him for a minute, move him in so he can move into the aisle so I can turn around, and the driver wouldn't do it. And I told him I can't fit around this aisle because even when he's not there, it takes a big wide turn to turn this chair around.
But he's all buckled in.
Well, I know, but I'm buckling him. Only takes a second. He can move it right there, and then I can turn around. There's no other way to do it. I'm trying to get in the bus and go somewhere. I've been sitting there for an hour. Every bus that came couldn't take me anywhere. It's really quite easy to do. And this guy knows how to drive. I've met him before.
Are you okay with that?
So all you gotta do is just move it a little bit so I can just turn around, then you can back in. It'll be all.
Can we not buckle you in this way?
No. And I don't know where he's getting off anyway. Where are you getting off?
Oh, I'm
What's your
getting
name?
off
Daniel. Where are you getting off?
Hillsborough.
I'm not sure where that is. I'm getting off somewhere just past the Superstore. Are you going further?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I used to have a center wheel drive wheelchair, and it could turn a bit better, right? It was tighter, but this chair takes a wide turn.
Yeah, so is this one.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's because you're tall. I'm tall. That's why our chairs are bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of cooperation going a long way, and this lady's cooperating, so now I can turn off.